Jeremy here, partsbreakers.com, 303-666-9020, listing a wide track CJ7 frame, 82 to 86. You can use them on the early ones. If you're going to go to a wide track axles, anyway in the future, or possibly when you do this swap, then this would be a good time to do that. It's not something you have to do. You can do stuff to the axles to make them work, but just kind of a nice thing if you do. Now, if you have a late model CJ and you need a frame, this is the one you should buy, and I'll tell you why. Frames, specifically wide tracks, I got one hanging in the air here. This is a lower grade B. A little bit less money on that guy. It is a narrow track, and I'm going to show you the differences here in a second. This is more of a video on this frame, but I'm also doing comparisons. I did it on that one as well. So we'll just go over this frame, and yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, if you're needing a wide track frame and you want a quality one, this is the one you should buy, okay? And I only say that because a lot of times on these wide tracks, first off, they're super hard to get wide track Jeeps in general right now, the later CJs. And second off, finding one that doesn't have any rust. Now, when I say no rust on it, you're gonna have oxidized metal on a grade A, but there's not gonna be any scaling. We've scoped them. They've checked out on the inside as the outside, and most of the factory paint is still intact, which is all the black you see on this guy is still, this is, it says an 84, it's as old as I am, so this is almost 40 years old, and you can just see how good a shape it is. To have the factory paint still on it is pretty incredible. So if you need these bushings, I can give them to you. We don't usually do, we usually actually sell these separately. Those are cracked, so they usually get pulled, but the guys didn't pull them on this particular one. However, I can leave them on for the time being. So, okay, real quick, and I'll lower this other frame to give you that at the end, but I don't want to, I'm going to put myself right in my way here in a second. So before I flip it over, real quick on the top of this guy, there's a couple ways you can tell a wide track frame. One is the shock towers on the front. That's the most common way, but it's not a giveaway because sometimes people use narrow tracks and they weld mounts on and they make it work, and that's definitely doable. But that's bolted on shock towers, okay? So that's one giveaway when I look at a Jeep. The other giveaway is on a narrow track, they have an additional subframe support here right in front of what holds up the gas tank, which is that guy there. There's another one here, and I'm going to show you it on this other frame here in just a moment, but I'm going to flip this one over and get the condition of this frame down, and then we can move on to the next one. So bear with me for a second here. I'm going to flip this frame over, and as you can see, I'm doing it one-handed. They're not all that they're not all that heavy. Goes a couple of those bushings. Make sure I don't hit my head with these forks. So, okay. So once again, now I washed this frame with a 4,000 PSI Hotsy, and it had so much grime on it. I love grime because it preserves frames really well, but it is a pain to clean. So it's clean, but it's not, there's still a little grime. You can kind of see it around here. Look at the holes on this guy. Okay, now the reason I say that, I mean, these aren't big deal. If it has it, it has it. 90% of a grade A frame, even on my real solid stuff, have holes that are bad up here. They've been pulled, they've had a bumper, they've had, somebody's over tightened them, pulled threads on them. Those are all super clean threaded holes, which is, just makes your job easier going back together, okay? Going back, and we're upside down, so this is the passenger side. Okay, thread. Those are all your belly pan holes. This one's got a little dirt in it, but it's a clean hole there as well. Okay, so nice and clean, like it should be, all the way back. Subframe mount here, beautiful. Rear, even the rear crossbar is in good shape. And those things often, you can replace those, they're real easy, and I can order you those. But even that's in good shape. So, and then your driver's side, same thing. Nice, clean holes there for your belly pan. So this guy you can clean up and literally bolt it on and go, or paint it, or sandblast it, whatever you wanted to do, and go from there. Now, one area that we can't see right now very well, I can see only so much, and I did scope this frame, so I know there's nothing on this down here, but are these areas here, because they can trap stuff. So first off, notice, again, nice clean bolt holes for back here. If you like, I can pull this. Once I get a deposit on it, we can strip this down more if you like, these brackets. just in case there's nothing hidden back there. But I honestly don't think there is, and that's why I had the guys leave this one alone, because even those are hard to get. So the fact that it's all intact, but if it's peace of mind, it's no problem. We can whiz those off for you real quick. So, okay, questions, comments, concerns, 303-666-9020. I'm gonna lower this frame real quick to show you just what, if you're looking at what the difference is, considering either our frames or somebody else's out there. Okay, so this is a narrow track frame. This is a B. This has got a couple things in it here that makes it lower grade. There's a couple repairs that need to be done, nothing major, and overall this frame is solid, but does have a few things. So, and again, this one's videoed on its own, so I'm not going to go into that. But here's one difference. Okay, now I'm upside down on this other one, but we can see clearly there's nothing there, and nothing ever was there. So that's one difference on a narrow track to a wide track. And then the other difference, again, going back to the shock towers here, and you see these guys, they look like the rear ones. These are always like this on a narrow track. They're always a small little one. So if you're going one or the other direction, just know that you will be changing shocks over, because these are a shorter shock than these tend to be. And spring plates on a CJ7 narrow track is a spring plate. It's on the bottom of the leaf spring that holds the pack together. And these are actually welded on. There's a little bracket that's welded on the bottom of the axle itself. So those, you'd have to see another video to see the comparison on a wide track axle versus narrow track. But my point is just to give you a brief overview of the two while I'm showing you how clean this one is. And this one is for sale right now. It will be listed here shortly. And I believe I have one more CJ7 wide track frame, but I haven't had a CJ7 wide track frame that's grade A in probably 3 years. So these are super hard to get. I get occasionally a narrow track B in, but those are even getting hard to get too. So if you're looking for a frame, take advantage of it. Now, it's December 6th today. I'm leaving on December 12th, possibly the 10th, but for sure by the 12th. And I'm heading with a gooseneck trailer all the way out to Maine and doing deliveries in between. I have 6 tubs going out, actually 7 tubs going out, and 4 frames at the moment, but that's gonna go up. I do have more room for frames. I only have one more spot for a tub. I think that spot is spoken for, but I haven't quite got a deposit yet. So if you catch me this week, in the next few days, see this on YouTube, see this on the website, definitely give us a holler, because it'll save you on the freight. Plus, you don't have to deal with freight company. I'll get it out to you in a week. It's $500 flat rate on the delivery charge. And you can load me up. If you need a frame, if you need a tub, if you need axles, you name it, it's all included, that $500. So take advantage of these trips when I do them. I usually do them once a year. This year I might be able to do 2, but this year is going to be December 2022. I'm leaving next week, so holler at me if you want to jump on that. Now, if you miss that window and you don't want to wait till the next one, we freight these things all the time. There's no big deal. This is 7 acres, Jeeps Unlimited. Our actual name now is partsbreakers.com or Parts Breakers. But Jeeps Unlimited has been who we are since 1984. And give us a shout. We'd be happy to help you out with any Jeep needs you have. And we can go from there. Thanks a lot.